What's good? What's up going on, my Gunpla fans? It's Megane, and I'm here with the moment you've all been waiting for. A custom Gunpla. Absolutely. And we're going to go through all of it. And when I mean all of it, we're going to go through all of it. So let's get started. So I already teased it in my previous video. But here it is, officially, in its own video. The XXXG-01HF Gundam Heavyarms Franco. Finally came up with a name for it. I'll explain it later. Because we're going to start right from the top. What do I mean by that? And what I mean is, the question is, you're asking yourself, is it worth it getting all into this? Yes, 100%. Because truth be told, when I was building this Gunpla, before I started painting, I avoided high grades for many reasons. Because I liked real grades and master grades. Master grades for the size, real grades for the detail. But when you paint a Gunpla, certain things just stop going on in your head, you know? But I'll explain. So, what about this Heavyarms? We'll talk about that first. We'll talk about this as a kit. As a kit, the Heavyarms is always a special surprise because it has goodies within itself. Like missile pods in the shoulders. And micro missiles in the legs. I was going to say thighs, but we'll say legs. And it's a fantastic kit because of that alone. Because I've only built three other high grades. And, well, see, you can tell why. Yeah. And usually they don't really come with too much. And it feels like a similar story for the Heavyarms. Because admittedly, you get the gun. You get the combat knife. But that's part of the body. So I don't count that. And then you get the extra hands. Which you only get another pair of hands. You get the open hands and then the closed holding something hands. But other than that, you don't get much in terms of accessories. But I think that's the case for all high grades, truth be told. But that's why the Heavyarms is so special, even in any grade, is that it has goodies built into the body. So you always feel like you get a fulfilled kit. But this kit felt fulfilling, really fulfilling because of that. Although it's difficult to say, I'm looking back at my shelf, and a good number of those were fulfilling as well. I have the Wing Zero Hono, the Wing Gundam Fenice, and high grade Ale Strike. And honestly, I do enjoy it. I guess the least unique would probably be the Ale Strike, but I haven't built anything like the Ale Strike since. So there's my experience with high grades. And do I have any more in the closet? Let's find out. High grades in the closet. I think about like 2 or 3. So yeah, we're gonna treat this like a podcast kind of thing. If you're on Patreon, you're gonna get the podcast kind of thing. If you're on YouTube, you're gonna get the chop. Moving on. Yeah, so I feel like it's a great kit. Of course, being a mobile suit that is focused on long range weapon systems, flexibility was not something that it was designed for, but I still found it to be quite flexible. I mean, granted, yes, you can't bend the leg forward all the way to a 90-degree angle, but if you just tuck it to the side of the side skirt, you can get it. Because I got it in one pose that I particularly like, and it pulls it off really well. It pulls it off really well while managing to be sturdy, although that's a little bit tricky. Well, I think, yeah, it's a sturdy kit. Granted, there is paint on it, so it might be a little bit sturdier than intended. What else can I say about it base wise? Base wise, I think it's a good kit. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I made some modifications to it. I actually barreled the guns on the beam Gatling, the Vulcans on the shoulders, and the, what are those? I forgot. I think they're just anti-aircraft guns on the head. Let me see. Okay, Vulcan guns on the head, then the machine cannons on the shoulders. Yeah, so those are barreled out. Give it a little bit more of a cool look. Yeah. Oh, so this is gonna be that video. So there's modifications. There's real modifications, build fighting modifications. If you get what I'm saying, we're gonna go through all of it, and then of course visual modifications. So we're gonna touch all of it. Whatever type of Gunpla fan you are, you gonna get it in this video. With that being said, we're gonna move on to some things that were, well, you know, it high grades, right? You know, you just want proper color separation. And you're like, what is color separation? Well, I'm glad you asked. Megane will explain it to you. Color separation is when the company, and we'll say Bandai in this case, they design and manufacture a part so that when you can assemble the model kit together without needing stickers or any cosmetic modifications similar to that concept. And the best way I can explain it is in the chest on the mobile suit. But yeah, it's the chest. However, so we'll compare the high grade to a master grade. Now, admittedly, I do not have the master grade Heavyarms, but I do have the master grade Heavyarms custom. So we can kind of use that because their chest unit is very similar. Although, granted, it is Endless Waltz, but we'll take what we can. So we'll just flip to page. We can just flip to page 6. Page 6, and you can easily see the color separation right there on part 1-7. When you got to assemble A13 and I2 together right there, that's color separation right there. However, when we take a look at the high grade manual, now granted, yes, you know, high grade is not as complex, but we're explaining color separation here. On a high grade, that part is a sticker. And that part displeased me so much to where I wanted to paint it this entire kit. That is the reason why this kit is painted. Let me get my drink. I forgot that story. Oh, that was a true story. I got pissed off with that sticker so much. That's what happened. I was actually building this like a snapper. And fun fact, a snapper is when you just build the kit without painting it. You know, you build it straight up, you know, panel line it, clear coat it. You know, you don't do too much. Snapper. But those V's in the front alone made me just say, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go get that compressor. But the thing is, the airbrushing will make you feel like a messiah of painting, but you still need to hand paint. So let's go right into it. I guess we're starting to get into the custom part. So for my build fighters out there, yeah, here we go. Heavyarms Franco, that's its proper name. I was intending to call this Heavyarms Eclipse, and internally we'll call it that, but that's not its proper name. That's its let's just say it's a project name. There we go, project name, because this is actually an improved Heavyarms. Let me explain what I have done. We'll start from the top, straight up from the top. Weight reduction. You already know me. We've developed a way to mix carbon fiber and Gundanium alloy I hope I pronounced that right. The strategy over here was weight reduction. So weight reduction everywhere. Improved power system, basically a greater generator output, because we've upgraded the micro missiles on the legs to have homing capabilities similar to the ones on the shoulders. Yeah, fancy. Also, chest Gatlings. Yeah, those are also lighter. Also, they have the capability, should the pilot choose to, they can either shoot traditional rounds or beam rounds. Yeah, that's why we improved the power output. And also went with the rate reduction because, bigger power. Backpack. Obviously, the mobile suit's lighter, so power there is more efficient and it can move faster. Homing missiles. Those are also lighter, and also the micro missiles. So, all the missiles now can micro lock on. Tripping on my words. But those are also seen a weight reduction. So they can travel further. Less weight to carry. The machine cannons and the Vulcan guns we kept the same, but they are lighter. We all seen the first season of Gun and Build Fighters. That shield's broken. So you never know. I'd rather have it on not needed, right? The beam Gatling on an arm, that one just saw a weight reduction. I didn't want to do too much for this one. I have some ideas, but I was getting a little bit too ambitious for what I was capable of. This is the first kit I've done. So, light. And it's funny, we say that we wanted to make this kit lighter, even though it's lighter than the Strike Gundam. Oh yeah, the Strike Gundam, actually, that's going to be a better comparison of color separation. My high grade and master grade Strike. But I guess we'll come to it when we come to it. Yeah, we'll come to it. Moving on. So, yeah, we made some upgrades. This ain't no aesthetic appealing little, like we just painted it and that was it. No, we made some upgrades. So when build fighters come through, I'm ready. And then now we can move on to the painting aspect of this into, I guess, the inspiration of the colors. You are talking to the artist here. Let's see. I didn't want to keep it a default color. That was pretty obvious. I wanted to do something unique to the channel. So the primary color of this Gundam, I think, is actually white, then red. But it's kind of tricky because white and black, they're colors, but on the color wheel, they're not colors, if that makes sense. But I took them nonetheless. But I decided to switch the white for a carbon black because we did put carbon fiber in the Gundanium alloy, and we didn't want to put too much paint there. Keep it light, but we did paint the areas you did see silk blue and whatnot. So yeah, as you could tell where that blue came from, the channel. And subsequent colors to go with it. How I chose those colors? Well, I'm glad you asked, because that is exactly our next segue into building this Gundam. I already talked about the pin vices. Those are the only modifications I believe. Yeah, I made. Yes. The vice barrels. And then thanks to a lack of color separation, we had to do some masking. I have footage of that. Yeah, and yeah, that's the thing. Color separation means you have to mask shit. For example, like the air intakes on the chest, the gold pieces. Well, it's yellow. It was yellow, but I painted them gold. Yeah, had to mask that. And let's see what else had to mask. Had to mask the eyes ish, kind of. A lot of things had to get masked. Ankles, top of the feet. What else? The end parts of the grooves, because you didn't want to get paint on the grooves. But that's gonna be for every kid. That's not exclusive to high grades. But for high grades you're gonna have to just do a little bit more masking aesthetically. But if you're doing something custom, it was coming with the territory anyways. After that, when you're done, well, you have to wash the parts first. Wash the parts, yeah. But I don't have any footage of that. I mean, it's just parts shaking on an ultrasonic cleaner. But then there's masking, and then the exciting part, which was priming. And I'm gonna give you a secret. I mean, hey, look, I'll just keep it real with you. I'm just gonna let it all out. Yeah, I primed this Gundam. I primed every single piece, every single color. I wanted a specific way. So I got 5 different primers on this one model kit. I don't know if that's fancy or not, but I like to pat myself on the back for it. It seems kind of cool. The colorway, that's the thing. And or at least I want to promote, if I can. I want to promote the use of different color primers if you can find them. I know we don't have too much options in the industry. Moving on. But yeah, I used white, I used gray, I used black, I used purple, and I used a metal primer. Yeah, those are the 5 actually. Yeah, so I used 5 different colors. But before that I had to test what each one looked like. So that's why there are 5 different primers on this Gundam, because I tested each and every color on each primer that I wanted to test it on. Oh yeah, and side note on color separation, it also couldn't do the missiles. Ugh, that was annoying, but we'll slide. But I like to give the color when they look like carbon fiber, the enemy can't see them. Nice little gimmick there. But yeah, so we had the prime. And then we had to do stage 1 painting. I gotta look at my notes here, because this was a lot more, thanks to the lack of color separation, a lot more preparation was required. So you can still have fun with your high grade, just a little bit more preparation is required. So here we go. I got my folder open. So yes, there was masking stage 1. There was priming stage 1. Yeah, there was multiple stages of priming. So yeah, there was priming stage 1. And then before that, I wanted to get some painting done. So I got some painting done. Yeah, so that was obviously the V-fin, because that was already masked off. So we had to make that, and get that out of the way. Ooh, I got some nice footage of that actually. Yeah, so you'll be able to get some good footage of that. So yeah, so first thing that got painted was the eyes and the V-fin. But it was the V, not, I say V-fin, the V on the chest. But the eyes. And for the eyes, it was a special kind of primer. I mixed in a little bit of this. I was trying something different. I was trying to mix in this glow-in-the-dark powder. It works, but it doesn't work too well on camera. It works better in person. And the eyes are very small, but, yeah, we slide. You do what you can. So, yeah. That was stage 1 painting. And then we get to stage 2 masking. Which, I mean, you already know. Taking off the masking tape that need to be taken off. Which was some parts just a swap, and then some parts, well, when I mean swap, like take off the masking, like the ankle, for example. I primed that. I primed the inside piece a silver, which, I mean, that is a lot smaller because of the high grade, but trickier to see. And then I had to put some tape over that so I could prime the rest of it black. Things like that. That's what color separation will make you have to do. Is, prime a piece silver, take off the masking tape, cover that silver piece you just put on. But let me call it by the primer name. It's called bare metal. So I painted these things to look like bare metal. Then cover it up so I can spray the rest of it black. And that's what you see, like that's mostly prominent on the feet. And yeah, literally the feet, not the legs. And of course on the Oh yeah, yeah, and the legs too. Actually, yeah, the legs as well. I forgot about that, but you know, my painting got so generous, some of it almost disappeared. So yeah, then we move on to matte priming stage 2. All right, welcome to priming phase 2. Masking phase 2 is done. I'll show you right here. This is the body, so we swapped the masking. So now the V-fins are covered and ready to prime these. That one will come back to. I'm not sure if we can hand brush or airbrush around that safely. The masking is getting a little tricky. And prime these parts. Do a little touch-up priming here. Some bad tape. And touch up there. And priming black. And I think that's it. Oh, but check this out. Check this out. I was going to, speaking of touch up, I was going to touch this up underneath these feet, but look, when they glow, when they're red like this, it almost looks pretty cool. Let's see if I can get it. It looked like there's some thrusters down there already providing propulsion, so I actually want to keep that effect. Looks pretty cool. So, I'm going to move you over to the spray booth. Turn that on. Shake this bottle up. We're going to be using Mr. Hobby, Mr. Finishing Surfacer, 1500 black. This is, I already have it pre-mixed. You can hear the ball in there. So I'm going to shake this up. And I'm going to be using my airbrush. Let me move this all out the way. Let me move this out the way for you. Alright, here we go. We're going to be using my Gallery X Barbatos Rex Swallowtail airbrush. Trigger action. I have it in a, this is the 0.28 millimeter needle. And the primer sprays through. And the primer is pre-mixed to a 2-to-1 ratio, 2 parts thinner and 1 part primer, or 1/3, 2/3. Alright, so I'm gonna move you over to the booth and we'll get ready. Which was the rest of the color, which I think was just black. Yeah, priming the rest of the stuff that needs us to spray so that we could get all the main coats. But then before that, we had to do masking phase 3, which was taking off. Let me see. What was it? Yeah, we had to take off the masking tape so that we could, yeah, because some parts were actually getting the same color over. Like the primer was different, but the color was the same. So like, for example, the combat blade, the base of the blade is black, but the blade is gray. So we had to do things like that. But I spray it all in the same color, which was space silver. That's what it was called in the box. And then after masking phase 3, we went on to the last step of painting, which is painting phase 2, which was pretty much everything but the purple and the eyes. So, you know, our blue, our gold, our silver, and our black, carbon black. And I got plenty of footage of that, luckily. So you're going to see all that goodness. And then after that, what's next after the painting? Paneling. You know, it's funny. I still find the paneling to be one of my favorite parts of the assembly process. But this one was completely different from any other panel lining experience that I've had, because I've never used panel liners out the jar. I've always used the ones out the marker, or the Gundam markers, which I tried to do on the eyes. But, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I just love panel lining. But, you know, you got to take off the tape first. And let me run you through the colors. This is my disclosure. You are talking to the presenter and the artist here. So, for the silk blue, I decided to use a dark blue for the panel line. Usually I was thinking like a black, but then I was like, wait a minute. I had a whole different color set. So options were very open. So I just started experimenting, and I found that the dark blue was really nice. So dark blue it is for that one. And then for the gold, I got orange on right now, but I think I might switch to brown like I usually do. The orange looks a little, it looks okay. It looks okay, I'll say. But fantastic. I had a lot of fun. It's always nice to do the panel lining, and then also a little bit of touch up. I had an extra brush, put some marker in the cup, and did the sensors. Or the cameras up top. And this one I just used a Gundam marker, which is a metallic blue. Let's see what other color. And I also use black, but black is a funny color. It doesn't really show up that well on black, but it's there, but it's not there. Kind of weird. I don't know if I'll do it again. It felt like a waste. It felt like I was wasting panel liner, I'm not gonna lie. And then the last thing was assembly. And I'll tell you, it does feel different. And oh yeah, and I forgot to tell you, so this has no clear coat. This Gundam has no clear coat. I ran out of clear by the time I got to it. So when I finished painting, I saw I had one jar of clear left, and I was like, that might be enough. 10 milliliters, by the way. I was like, I don't know if that's enough, but I was like, the way she was glistening, I was like, I'm gonna let it slide, but I'm gonna make sure to get some more clear next time. But this is the Franco. Oh yes, and that is why it is called. Well, I'll explain it. So during the painting process, literally while I was painting the Gundam, I got a call saying, you know, my grandpa passed, and you know, I had a good relationship with him, so it you know, it made me feel some type of way. And I'd like to honor him in this way, in, you know, the way I can. I he knew I painted, but he didn't know I painted Gunpla. This was, you know, the work in progress. So I'd like to dedicate this first one to him. You know, he was always one that encouraged me to be good with my hands, and this is one way I wanted to do so. And I guess now it's photo shoot. I'm not used to taking. That's the funniest thing on a side note. I gotta get photos and videos, but you know, that's the funny thing. I'm not usually a photo video guy, so this is gonna be fun. But yeah, this is it. The first custom. And I don't know if I know 100% that I would be completely comfortable. Like, I want to custom everything now. I don't know if it's gonna stop here. Like, default color, it's like, you know, it doesn't seem bad, but in my head it just seems like there's that one shadow, that one bastard in the corner that's just saying, lazy ass motherfucker. You know. Unless, you know, like, okay, like we do an offset where we make it look better, I'll take that. But same exact, I don't know. It feels like once you touch this realm of making a Gundam yours, you don't want to go back. Like all these kits, I got all these kits in my bed because I had to dig up the manuals, and I just love going through these. Well, you've seen the Heavyarms. I'm just thinking now of like there's ideas and thoughts are running in my head, and that's why if you're watching this video, you're lucky if you have Gundam Breaker 4. That might be a shortcut. That's also one thing I wanted to talk about. Where is my Switch? Shoot. I gotta check to see if I have Heavyarms parts, but I made this Gundam before I discovered Gundam Breaker 4. But now having Gundam Breaker 4, I'm super excited on how this can advance my Gunpla building. Oh, and speaking of which, and how I got the color design. Yeah, that's what I was supposed to talk about. Yeah, I actually went full nerdy on that. So I went to a color wheel that I use for my art painting and whatnot. In addition to the MadWorks color mat that I have, on top of, was it Encyclopedia or Colorpedia, something like that? Basically just to look at colorways and color patterns to swap the Gundam. Let me see, because I can go, let's take a look at the color guide. Nah, it wasn't just a whole 100% flip, because I changed the red to diamond blue. The yellow went gold. The blue went was that the chest piece? I think we'll come back to the blue. I don't remember the blue now. Oh yeah, that was the VV. That's a mauve. Excuse me. Oh, and I can go through actually all of this. So the silk blue was primed with gray. The reddish gold, that's what it's called, was primed with gray, but it was primed with a black when it's next to the black and blue. And the V's on the chest, that was primed with a purple with a mauve mica powder above it. And then for the white, that was primed black with carbon black above it. Yeah, that was it. And then let's see the gray parts. The frame. Oh yeah, the frame was fancy. I went a little fancy with that one, just a little bit. So that one I used a bare metal primer along with just carbon black, just a little splash and dash of carbon black. And then for the green part, that was the eyes. I decided to put the eyes yellow. I think it would make it look nice with the blue around it. And then for the orange, we swapped that for black primer with a Mecha Empire Black and Blue 2. That was a premix container. That's actually a really nice color, but it's kind of, I'm gonna have to get some more if I want to use more of it. That's a really nice color, definitely. And then last but not least, the silver. That one we did gray with a space silver. That was a blade, yeah. And that was all the colors right there. And then, of course, let me go grab it right here. It's right here. Let's see. And some details. The eyes glow in the dark. I think, like I said before, single stage paint. So this is a build fighter. So the cuts and bruises you see, it'll be legit. Like it's been through the simulation. And that's what I like about it a little bit. But the thing I will say is that painting some parts, you will have to mask a little bit, quite a bit, because if it still feels like some parts don't fit 100% because of some parts being, stiffer because of the paint. So there is that. Take that as you will. And I'll say particularly on the shoulders is where it's noticeable. Actually, I think it's only just the shoulders. and of course the front of the legs. But this was the kit to figure out how to get this done, and oh man, it's blown me away that people were able to do this decades ago. I'm like, dang, guys, like you guys were having a lot of fun. You guys were having a lot of fun with this shit. I know y'all were macking it up. I can't wait to work on the next piece. I gotta go order some more clear though. Oh yeah, that's a catch though. If you're gonna use mica powders, you're gonna need a lot of clear coat, like Tamiya or Mr. Hobby clear coat, gloss or flat, whichever you prefer. I use gloss on all of this one because the mica powder, when you throw in a certain amount of mica powder, it brings it down to a semi gloss, and if you throw in a lot, it'll actually make it matte, which is really cool. So depending on what look you're going for, you gotta adjust how much powder you throw in, and also keep making sure it's all balanced throughout, because sometimes it'll settle at the bottom. So like by the time you get to the end, it'll look completely different. Oh man, but this guys, man, this is worth it. Even I'm not gonna lie, even I did a little something to the feet to make them look like, that it stepped on something, and it's just like, oh yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to work on the next one. You know what? I'm just gonna leave you. Just enjoy. I'm gonna get start working and prepping, getting this one out for you, and then we're gonna work on the next one. So, but I'm a little bit caught between the two. I'll maybe leave it to a coin toss, but I'll let the comments decide as well. I want some input. What do you think the next Gundam I should work on is next? 2 options. I'll put it everywhere. I'm thinking of 2. I got the high grade China guy, or so that something new or something we're used to. Because the Heavyarms was something new. Well, I know a little bit something we're used to. I mean, me and the Heavyarms have had it's one of the first Gundam I knew. Anyways. Or the Ale Strike on my shelf. So it's Ale Strike Gundam or high grade China guy. And I'll leave it to a coin toss. You can leave your input on what you think, what color, whatever. Well, except for the China guy, maybe that one I have a already set idea for the China guy. Ale Strike, I'm not so sure yet. The Ale Strike I want to use as the baseboard / foundation for the Perfect Strike Master Grade that I have. So that's the idea with that one, or that is the project themes for each high grade. For the China guy, something special I won't announce yet, and then for the Strike, it's a little bit obvious because I have a master grade. So I'll leave that to it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy Gunpla, you definitely gonna see more Gunpla content. Absolutely. Oh man, I'm still staring at it. I'm still staring at it. I'm gonna have to leave it there. Like, comment. Thank you for watching the video. Please, if you like what you see, let me know what you like to see. We're gonna have some. If you're into Gunpla, I got Gunpla. It's right here. Gaming might be in another video. I gotta pick that back up. I was tunnel visioning on the Franco. Gundam Franco? I guess we'll call it Gundam. Something like that. There you go. But, I made sure even to paint most of the frame, as much of the frame that was going to be seen as possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, make this look like a master grade or a real grade. Make it look like real grade effort in a high grade body. And that'll do it. Thank you for watching. Peace. Gunpla is freedom. I didn't know what that meant now, but now I do.